Welcome to the boat deck. It's called the boat deck because it has boats and it is a deck. For our tour, we will be starting at the top of the ship and working our way down. We'll be starting at the front of each deck and working our way to the back, or as they're called in a boat, the bow and the stern. So this is the front section of the boat deck. The boat deck, like I said, is the top deck of the ship. And of course, the top at the front, we have the bridge. It's got all your standard bridge stuff, engine controls, wheels, all very important for not crashing into things, as I'm sure you'll agree. If you've ever wondered what these little things at the side are, they are so that people can stand in when the boat's coming into port. Keep an eye on things, make sure nothing hits into the side, make sure it doesn't get too close on either side, and make sure it doesn't sink. Also, extremely important. So that's that. Moving on over here, this little door leads into Captain Smith's room in case for some reason he needed to come onto the bridge in the middle of the night. He could, instead of walking around this long way, he could go through that door. And this little staircase leads down below. We'll see that later on. This is the officers' quarters. I've already seen Captain Smith's room. This is just an example of the junior officers' dormitory. We got some chests, some flowers, some beds. It's all a very nice colour scheme. I went for the blue because it seemed appropriate. More officers' room, Marconi room, things like that, things like that. These are our lifeboats. I'm aware that they should not be hanging over the side. However, if I put them on the deck, they would take up too much space and you couldn't walk. And if I made them any smaller, they'd look stupid. So this is my medium. I think they look good. I think it looks okay, acceptable. Moving on back across the boat deck, we have the grand central staircase, the pièce de résistance, as some people say. It's got a nice clock in the center there. You can see it's midday because I've got always day on, because I don't build at night, because unlike you, I'm not a noob. That's a little entrance to the officer quarters so they can get down there easily. That's the staircase down to the A deck. We're not going down there yet because we haven't finished the boat deck. Watch this. Noob. Moving on backwards now, we're going to the gym. The gym is a gym, short for gymnasium. It's full of gym equipment, none of which I know how to use, none of which I have ever used, none of which I ever will use. Because I spend all my time spending 50 hours making sunken ships in Minecraft. Anyway, moving on back, we have this raised promenade area with a little strange spider thing that was used for calibrating compasses. The raised promenade area is raised because they wanted a bit more room in the first class lounge, which is right below us. Moving on back yet again, that's right, we keep moving on back in here. We have the officers' mess. This is where officers would come, eat their lunch, have a bit of bants with the crew, the fam, peng ting, kids. Down there is a little staircase down to the A deck, but hang on. We've been over this. We're not going down to A deck yet. There's still more of the boat deck to see. Okay, moving on. This little raised promenade section is over the first class smoke room. It is a room for first class people to smoke in, so it's a first class smoke room. In here is the first class kennels that contain all the first class dogs. They're dogs that belong to first class. This is also the place where I put in the entrance to the fourth funnel. This is a real thing that you could do on the real Titanic. I know it's kind of strange it's in the doghouse, but it just sort of fitted. And finally at the aft here we have the aft staircase, which is called the aft staircase because it's in the aft and it's a staircase. What do you want from me? So that is the boat deck completed. Without any further ado, we're going to move on to the A deck. Welcome to the A deck. It's called the A deck because that's the first letter of the alphabet, and the first deck is already called the boat deck, so this one is now the A deck. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take a tour. There's a lot of stuff on it, you got your lounge, smoking room, things like that. It's really busy, it's an important deck. So let's go and take a look at it. This is that little staircase we seen earlier. There's another one on the other side of the boat. It's just a staircase. There's only so many staircases you can see. This is a promenade. This is the first class covered promenade actually. It's very, very nice. It's covered and it's got deck chairs on it. This is the A deck grand central staircase. You can see up where we rotated the clock. Let's rotate a little bit more here. Very nice. Going down here, you can see that we're on the A deck. We've got a lot of stuff. Very nice deck indeed. Very posh, very fancy deck. Up here at the front, we have our first of the first class cabins. Word of warning, I had to do every single cabin on this boat individually. There's over 500 of them, so there's a repeated pattern depending on the class. As you can see for first class, armor stand, blue carpet, things like that. Moving on down here, we have the reading and writing room. It's a room for reading and writing. It is indeed the reading and writing room. Apparently it wasn't a very room in the Titanic. I can't imagine why. Moving on back here is the lounge for first class people only. Yes, very selective in who they let in. It has a fireplace, it has a nice bookshelf over in the corner there. If you wanted, you could chillax with some friends, talk business, talk about, I don't know, the imminent world war. Many, many things like that. Nice bookcase here if you want to read a book about anything. And here in the background we have a store. It's just a store, it's a room full of chests, that's all it is. It also has a staircase leading up to the officers' mess, so presumably they nipped down and stole some beef or something when they were bored. Moving on down here to the smoking room. The first class smoking room, very important room. There would be a revolving door just there, but guess what? It doesn't work in Minecraft, so I had to delete it. As you can see, the first class smoking room is pretty standard. It is a room full of chairs you can smoke and get drunk in. Speaking of getting drunk, welcome to the bar on the Titanic. We have many, many drinks. And if you just let me in here, what can I get you? Many, many drinks. But yeah, when the ship was going down, people and all the lifeboats that left, people ended up just chilling in the smoking room because, may as well. What else have we got to do? We've got our aft staircase here. We've got some nice seats at the back here. We can sit and watch the boat steam across the Atlantic for the first and final time. Some more chairs, places to sit, chat. And out here we just see the first class promenade. Like I said, it's got all your deck chairs, so you can sit and look out. And I was going to say sunbathe, but seeing as practically everyone was wearing 10 layers at once, that's not really an option. But it was a very nice place to walk and get some nice fresh sea air into those lungs. And we even have a nice mast just to cap it all off with a nice white starline flag on the top. So that is the A deck. Without any further ado, we're going to move straight on to the B deck. Let's go. Welcome to the B deck. The B deck is called the B deck because it's below the A deck and above the C deck. It was really puzzling what they should call it, but they decided to go with B deck. I'm not really sure why. Really, really strange. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff in the B deck, including this lovely open promenade that was for second and third class to mingle on. I'm sure first could come down if they wanted to mingle with the filth of third class, but very nice place. Got some places to moor. Got some nice capstans, which are used for directing chain and rope across the deck instead of taking someone's eye out, as my teacher would say. We also have a nice little rope here that goes up to a mast. I'm not entirely sure what that's for, because there's no sails. I'm joking, I'm joking. We have these little cargo areas where they take the lid off and they slide the cargo down. That would let it go all the way to the bottom of the ship, and then they'd store it in the hold instead, because otherwise it would just be a pain, do you know what I mean? This is the C deck. We're not going down there just yet. Call your horses. We've been over this. We need to finish the deck before we move on. That's the little staircase we'd already looked at before. And without any further ado, we're going to head straight inside the boat. This is, of course, the wonderful first class first class cabin area. We've got chests, we've got paintings, we've got everything your average first class person would need. This little area here is where the passengers will come on. Primarily used at Southampton because at Queenstown and Cherbourg they did not have the capacity to bring the ship into harbour, and so people were brought out by boat. So not really, only really used once. We have these first class cabins here. There's a hell of a lot of them. We have a nice little chillaxing area, relax, chillax with the fam, and when you're finished, you know what you can do? I'll tell you what you can do. You can go in next door to the restaurant. Yes, that's right, there's a restaurant. You can sit, you can rest, you can have food. We even have a kitchen just for the restaurant, and as we go into the kitchen you will see it's got everything you could need in Minecraft to make food. Everything. I'm talking chests, everything. Anyway, out here is a Cafe Parisian. It would be bigger, but I ran out of space because I miscounted the blocks. I don't care because I've done too much now, so I'm going to keep going. Moving on backwards. This is the second class smoking room. You can sit in it, you can smoke, you can get lung cancer. It's a brilliant room for getting lung cancer. Really good. You've got books if you want to smoke and read at the same time. Please don't smoke and read at the same time. Don't smoke at all, but don't smoke and read at the same time. Moving on backwards here, we have a nice little area under here that I think is kind of nice. That's it. That's the entirety of the thing that I think is kind of nice. Moving on over here to the poop deck, the last part to go underwater when she sank. We have some nice cargo cranes, we have some seats, some more capstans, a nice flag at the back there. We also have this nice little raised platform area where you can stand and look at the sea, talk to people, be social. 1912 was a great time. Not for the Titanic, but for social. This is the part where Kate Winslet threatened to commit die, and seeing as we've reached the end of the ship, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next deck. Welcome to the C deck. The C deck is called the C deck because it is above the D deck and below the B deck. Once again, they weren't quite sure what they should call this one, but they went with this one. It is a little bit of a mystery to all historians, even today. With that little piece of humour aside, we're going to go ahead and get on with the tour. This is the capstan. It was used to raise and lower the anchor. You'd walk around in a circle and it would lift the chain up. If you played Sea of Thieves, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm sorry, you're missing out on a good game. This is the continuation of the cargo grid thing, and this is a little spiral staircase that was used by the crew. And there's two of them. There's another on the other side over there, and they go from top of the ship all the way down to the bottom. Heading on out of this crew-only section here, we have a little third-class area on down below the staircase. Just ignore that. We'll see that in a second. But we have come with a problem because this is the end of the C deck, and I don't know what to do now. So, okay, stand by for editing in 3, 2. Oh, okay, we're already here. Right. Okay, then here we are. Guess continuing with the C deck. Over the front here, we just got some more rooms. It's a passenger ship. There's going to be a lot of rooms. Over here is the purser's office. It's basically a safe where rich people would leave their stuff when they were out of their rooms because they didn't want to get nicked. This is the General Inquiry's office. It's an office. It's for general inquiries. It's a General Inquiry's office. Moving on towards the back of the ship, we have a lot more rooms and a little common area just so you can, chat business with the crew, the fam, painting, word up. I'm going to stop now. And down here is the second class covered promenade, called so because it's a promenade for the second class, which is covered. This is the entrance to the aft staircase. We've already seen this above. And as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff on this deck. And this is the second class library. It's a library for the second class. It's a second class library. We've got some windows. We've got a lot of bookshelves. If you want, you can read. You can look out the window. It's very, very nice indeed. Moving on back here, we have a little open plan section here. It's pretty nice. And back here we have the finest room in the whole ship. It's the third class smoking room. They use the finest materials and the most exquisite hand-carved wood to create this intricate room. I'm joking, of course. It was not as nice. Not bad by 1912 third class standards, but not as nice as the first class. This is the end of the C deck. Below us is the D deck. Onwards to the D deck. Welcome to the D deck. I'm not going to go through the whole charade of wondering why they call it the D deck. It's pretty obvious. It's named after me. DMan's vids. Like and subscribe. Smooth. This is our spiral staircase that we've seen from above. Once again, as I said, it goes from all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, so that the crew and firemen can move between decks without being seen by the other passengers. In here we have a little storage room full of chests and crates and stuff to put stuff in. Very important room. This is a third class common room. It is a room for third class to be common in because they're common folk. That's a joke, of course. It's just a room for them all to congregate. Down here is a staircase leading to the deck below. Once again, we have a problem of the third class being cut off from the upper classes. How will we solve this horrible problem? I have no... Okay. Damn, that editor is good. Here we are on the D deck, and as you can see, it's a very important deck indeed. This is the deck that contains more rooms. I know this because I built every single one of them by hand and it took forever. But anyway, here is the dining room. You can dine in it with your friends. They did dancing here. It was a nice room, pillars and stuff. This is the kitchen. It's a very big kitchen. This is first and second class dining rooms. Chests and furnaces and stuff. It's all empty because I'm not going to fill it. Second class dining room. Kind of like the first, except not as nice. Just trust me when I say it's not as nice. It's hard to distinguish classes in Minecraft. Trust me, it's just not as nice. This is a little entrance for waiters. We will come to that in a minute. Moving on backwards, this is our first third class room. It's our first third classroom. It's the first third classroom that we see. Do you see where I'm coming from here? Okay, good. Anyway, moving on. You can see we've got lots of different rooms here, mainly second and third class, kind of intermingled between each other, and it's all pretty good. We've got lots of rooms, a few more rooms. Oh damn, look at that, we're at the back of the boat. Remember up here? We were up here just a minute ago. Damn, it's all so familiar. I wonder why. Well, seeing as we've reached the end pretty much of this side, it's just the same on this side, just more rooms. I guess we'll just have to move on to the deck below. We're getting proper deep into the ship now. You know what it is. It's the E deck. Welcome to the E deck, folks. This is indeed the deck called E. We have some staircases over the side here. They lead up into the third class common room that we've seen earlier. Over here is a staircase leading down that we will see in a minute. This is the entrance to the fireman's area. This is where the firemen will stay. I chose black because I feel like there'll be a lot of coal dust floating around up here. You know, there's a lot of rooms. This is where the firemen would stay, away from the public, away from the passengers, and they have these staircases again. And in here is the hold, another hold, first of quite a few holds that people's stuff was kept in. It's a room. Yeah, so this is the firemen quarters. Just again, they're just rooms with bunks. That's where the crew stayed, the core crew. That's a corridor over there. This is Scotland Road, so called because a lot of the crew who stayed on Scotland Road, this is getting into crew quarters, were from the Scotland Road area of Southampton. That was where they lived. You can see here we've got stairwells over here. Don't look at no. Oh dear, whoops. This is an empty room. Ignore that. Over here we have some. It's just crew quarters mostly along here on the right hand side, and with passenger quarters on the left. Over here is where this grand staircase sort of ends. You can see it's still sort of grand and sweeping up on the D deck, and then you go down to the E deck, and it's just sort of like, do we really want to keep doing this? And then they just sort of stop. And it's a normal staircase below here, but we're not going to go down there yet. Continuing along here on the E deck, you can see we've got a lot of stuff to look at. Admittedly, mostly it's rooms. There's a lot of rooms. There's an awful lot of rooms. Down there is something we will also look at later. Once again, third class dining room. Pretty nice room. Not looking nice, but you know. Yeah, it's just mostly rooms up here. Down there's more rooms. It's a passenger ship. What do you want from me? What can we do? Oh, I know. So, over behind us is a fun little room called the engine room. Well, not it's sort of the engine room, but it's not quite the engine room. We'll go and take a look now. We'll go and take a look. Here we go. We're going to go and take a look. It's sort of an engine room, but not really. We'll pass through because I don't want to come back up. You know, we've got some big old crankshafts. It takes up about 2 decks worth of space. Some fuel lines, some generators and stuff. And down here is where the chief engineers live and work. Chief engineer, the second engineer. And this was their place. They walked past the engine casing to get to their room, which is kind of cool. That's my favorite room, by the way. I think that's pretty cool. Moving on towards the aft of the boat yet again, we have the little staircase we talked about earlier for the waiters, so they can come up from here. And this leads down to more rooms. Not going in there yet. This is the aft staircase again. We just have more stores. They're storing air at the minute, if anybody asks. And down there's more rooms. We're not going in there yet. More rooms, more rooms. You can see they're really getting cramped down here. Pretty much all third class. Pretty packed in tight. And again, more rooms down there. But once again, we're not going down. Can you stop asking? Jeekers, God almighty. Finally, going down to the F deck. Welcome to the F deck. Because of how low in the boat the F deck is, it's divided into sections, and as such there will be some high speed time travel going on here. Just a forewarning. I know. Moving on here, we're at the front of the boat again. We have a lot of rooms. We have a lot of places that people sleep, called bunks or cabins on a ship. You know, most of them are 4-2 room with the double chest, but some of them are 6-2 room, in like the ones where I had a bit more space but was technically still third class. So I just slapped another 2 bunks in there, said that'll do. Some more ones, and go! And here we are in the second load of rooms. So a few second class ones down here in case I want to make use of this lovely squash court that was on the F deck for some strange reason. Continuing on here, we've just got some more third class rooms and up the staircase. Here we are. This is the very interesting part. This will be the health spa of the modern hotel. This is the swimming pool on the Titanic. Over there, you can just see it peeking through that door over there. Those are the shampoo rooms and the Turkish baths. You can get in here. You can practice your swimming in case you need to swim for some reason. I don't know why you would, but in case you do, you can do it here. Practice swimming. And of course, as every good swimming pool has, down here, past some lovely rooms, we have the changing rooms because you need to change out your tux and into your water tux. Let's just go in here and you can. No, oh, no, no, come on. Yes, you can see you can get into the room and change into your swimming costume. Or, not really trunks in 1812, were there? But anyway, that was that section, and heading on to the next section is the third class dining room. Like I said earlier, it's just a room, a lot of benches, got a lot of chairs, some lamps, some lights, and it does have its own kitchen because of how far away it is from the other two dining rooms. All the kitchen's smoke and steam would be exhausted out the fourth funnel, so it's not really a dummy funnel, but it kind of is, but not really, but not kind of is, but not really. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, we've got a lot of space for people to eat down here. The menu was not as varied and nice as first class, but it was still pretty good by that standards. Here we are in another section of the ship, even more rooms for you to behold. I kid you not, you get to see yet more rooms. Please contain yourself, I know it's exciting, calm down. That's just more rooms. If we go up the staircase here, we can go down here and you can see there's even more rooms. After a little store, we have, I imagine it would be kind of nice down here, you could make friends with people who are across the corridor and you could just chillax, This is a strange little one down here at the bottom of the aft staircase. This is where I started doing the rooms. That's where I came up with the design for the third class rooms. Actually, this room here was the very first cabin that I did, and it took me 3 days to do the rest of the ship of basically 6-hour work. If any of my teachers are watching, it was 3-hour work and the rest of my time was spent doing schoolwork. This is the last little section of the F deck. It is just more cabins. Pretty nice little setup. As the crew say, you've just got a bathroom down here. Yes, I'm aware this is the only bathroom on the ship. No, I don't care because everything fits in so well now, so it's going to stay. Another 4-day room. It's cool. It's cool. Is there anything I'm missing here in the F deck? No, we've seen pretty much everything. There's just another toilet here. If you want to go to the bathroom, you can do it. So, now that we have seen the entirety of F deck, it's time to go to the boiler rooms. Welcome to the boiler rooms. Yes, it is indeed the rooms that contain boilers. Down here we also have the main hold and the engine room, and also the main bulkheads, which we are standing in right now. You can see the two spiral staircase that we've seen earlier. They come down here so that the firemen can get up and down again without being seen by the passengers. These are our primary watertight bulkheads. Over here is where the massive gash from the iceberg will let the water seep in, and unfortunately the disaster will stem from. This is our coal store. It's a store for coal. It's a coal store. This is the boiler rooms. The boilers are massive circular things that boil steam, which drive steam engines, which drive the Titanic through the water. It had a lot of coal on, an awful lot of coal. Not very good quality coal, which resulted in some fires, but a lot of coal. You'll see in the corridor we have these little watertight bulkhead things, and they're pretty heckin' nice. They were designed in Harland and Wolff, and they were designed to be able to contain water, and that was the reason that the ship was practically unsinkable. It was a really, really well designed system. It was a well engineered system. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I designed it, as so many designs often end up. On over here we have the boiler room. It's more boiler rooms. There's an awful lot of boiler rooms down here. Believe it or not, there were 29 boilers on the Titanic. This is our entrance to the main staircase. What once was the grand central staircase is now just a simple flight of stairs. We also have these little signs here in case anyone gets lost. More watertight bulkheads. more boilers. Quick note, this is not quite right, the design for the lower deck, but it works better in Minecraft, so I thought it was best just to change it a little bit. We can see over here we have the car, from most people remember from the movie. We have lots of different things the Titanic's taking to the new world, chests, suitcases, anvils for some reason. And on down here is the exit from the aft staircase and last bulkhead before the engine room. This is the main engine room where the standard propulsion of the steam pistons we've seen up beside the chief engineer's rooms are turned into propulsion for the 3 big propellers outside. I will put in a picture of propellers at the end as a little end screen sort of thing, you know, just cool end screen. And we can see crankshafts. It's a cool engineer's area. It's a pretty nice area. So yeah, that's it for the G deck, as I suppose it's called, the boils of the ship. Well, everybody, that is the video over. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to download the Minecraft Titanic, the link will be in the description. If you enjoyed the video, perhaps give it a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe. I might do more boats in the future. If you want, you can comment below something and I will look into it for doing it as a build in the future. I've been DMan. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.